China's insane house-building technology will change everything. In November 2019, it was reported that China had built 20,000 houses in 3 days in Africa as part of an affordable housing project. In today's episode, we are going to tell you about China's amazing housing building technology that has changed a lot of things in Africa. Tens of thousands of Chinese people got together to celebrate the fact that 20,000 houses were built in Africa in only 3 days, allowing homeless people to move into new homes in the shortest amount of time possible. From what we know, this new city project is the first and biggest large-scale urban project that South Africa has ever started. It will be built on an area of 497.22 hectares and will cost $300 million to build. In just 3 days, China found homes for tens of thousands of homeless people who were living on the streets. Local Africans were surprised by how quickly China grew. But as far as we know, South Africa's economy is the best in the world. In fact, South Africa's growth is greatly affected by the fact that there aren't enough homes there. Africa as a whole is working hard to become more urbanized right now. However, Africa's cities and towns are already very crowded, with about 472 million people living in cities and towns across the continent. So why does South Africa have such a big problem with not having enough homes? South Africa is in the southernmost part of Africa, and there are about 60 million people living there. In reality, South Africa has the second largest economy in Africa, after Nigeria. People in South Africa, which used to be a British colony, have a higher standard of living than people in other parts of Africa. However, the difference between rich and poor is too big, and those at the bottom of society continue to have a very hard time. Even though they've built 3 million homes since 1994, there are still a lot of people without homes in South Africa because they can't afford to rent expensive places. Statistics from South Africa show that 14% of the people there are still homeless and living on the streets. About 100,000 people move to Johannesburg from other cities every year. Even in South Africa's wealthiest province, Gauteng, there aren't enough homes for infrastructure workers to live in. This is because the continent has a huge population and is becoming more urban quickly, which have both contributed to a severe housing shortage. South Africa has also been making efforts from the start. In 2013, the UK came up with the idea of a 3D printed home, and South Africa's plan to use it to give people a safe place to live got a lot of attention around the world. Even though 3D printed houses will be built faster, the price is too high for most people in South Africa, and most low-income families can't afford it. So it will have to be built with traditional tools, and then with Velcro. Because of the newly built houses, low-income families can't pay any rent at all. This puts South Africa in the difficult position of having to build more homes. At this point, they have decided to ask China for help in building homes so that everyone can live there. This is the first time a Chinese company has built affordable housing in South Africa using prefabricated building technology. South Africa and China are planning to build a total of 20,000 homes as part of this partnership. China only needed 3 days to build the model house. This structure not only makes building go faster, but it also lowers the cost of building. After the model house has been built, everyone will be interested in what's inside and what it has. The people in the area could hardly contain their excitement when they finally got to see this amazing work of art. The model home is 40 square meters in size and has a living room, a bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. The model home also has solar energy, which can help tenants who use too much electricity. It's possible that for many people this kind of house is pretty typical, but for some people in South Africa, it's more like a villa. But this house is big enough for a family to live in without having to worry about the wind and rain. Even though the house isn't too big, it's still a nice place to live. Not only are these homes eco-friendly and good for the environment, but they are also much cheaper. When people hear about China's houses, it's much harder to hide their shock, because these houses are affordable and people can live in peace in them. China's ability to do a miracle in 3 days is due to the fact that they used prefabricated buildings for this project. Many South Africans who went to see the model house said over and over again how much they loved it. Using a prefabricated concrete wall panel structure system is key to the success of a prefabricated building, and all of the parts that will be needed for the building process are made at the Green Building Technology Park. When everything is ready, all that is left to do is move the parts to where they will be put together in 3 days. In reality, the whole main body can be put together in just 1 day. After that, it can be decorated and moved to its new location. This technology can solve all of South Africa's housing problems right now. People in South Africa say that China has also taught them how to use important technologies. This is the most important thing China can do to help South Africa right now. It's important to remember that China's help doesn't just include building things on the surface. By doing things this way, South Africa won't have to worry about housing problems in the future. How has the life of the locals changed since the house was built? Because China only sent a small number of technical management experts when the houses were being built, the local economy in South Africa has also grown. This is because the most important thing for people's lives is how they make a living. Most people agree that at least 95% of the people working on this construction project are from South Africa. The main goal of these construction industry professionals is to help South Africa's native population grow while improving South Africa's construction technology. After the employment rate has gone up, China also wants to increase the number of job opportunities in the area. If this project is finished successfully, the South African economy is expected to grow steadily. The local government is also very grateful to China for all the help it has given. Because of this, South Africa wants to find new ways to work with China, and then it wants to build a new city with China. In order to get Chinese investors, South Africa has said the new city will be like an international community of people. So what is this project all about? Most people agree that the new South African urban development will be a new metropolis that will cover 1,600 hectares of land. Along with the growth of business districts, residential neighborhoods will also grow in this brand new metropolis. For no more than 100,000 people, in addition, it includes the extra facilities that people need to make sure that they have a safe place to live. The project is expected to take 15 years to finish, and the Endai Company of China, which is based in Shanghai, plans to put $8 billion into it. This also shows that the relationship between China and South Africa is getting stronger. South Africa is ready to work with China more now for 2 reasons. The first reason is that China is a very important country when it comes to building infrastructure. South Africa has acknowledged that China is doing a lot of work on its infrastructure right now. Second, because China is an important part of international cooperation. Both companies are members of BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and the China-Africa Cooperation Forum, which enhances their cooperation on various levels. South Africa is China's largest trade partner in Africa, and China is South Africa's largest trading partner globally. The two countries have engaged in joint ventures and investments in various sectors, such as infrastructure, energy, and mining. China has also provided loans and aid to South Africa for development projects. However, the relationship is not without challenges, as South Africa has expressed concerns about the trade imbalance and the impact of Chinese investment on its own industries. Additionally, some South Africans have raised concerns about the influence of China on their politics and economy. But however, China has clearly become the best partner, so it's likely that China and African countries will need trade at this time. This makes it likely that China and African countries will have closer ties in the future. That's all. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below if you agree with the points I made in this video. If you want to see more videos like this, press the bell icon, and do not forget to like and subscribe.